Hello everyone, today we're looking at one of these. This is an OKI CDL 700E. Now I'm not too sure, but I think the E just means it's compatible with ETACS or TACS. This one stems out from about 1989. I think these came out. I think possibly 89, 88 even. Certainly by 1990 these were everywhere, because a couple of my friends actually had one of these. I personally didn't, this is another phone that was sold or distributed by Martin Dawes Communications. I don't know if you checked out the other video I did, I think it was last week or the week before. This has the Martin Dawes Communications logo on it, and obviously they sold their own MD100s like in the video previously, but they also sold branded phones like this. The box is real neat because it's got a whole bunch of stuff on the side, shows you some of the features of the phone. It's got a battery meter, real important back in those days, you know, because the battery didn't last very long, and a battery meter was steady the art back then. Believe it or not, we take things for granted, you know, nowadays. But you know, phone without a battery meter, that's unheard of nowadays. Back in those days, it was something special. So, and you got a whole bunch of accessories. Actually, they sold separately. For aftermarket use, you got a car cradle, you got a slave handset, your speaker, a whole bunch of other stuff, an extra antenna. Not too sure what that is. One-step dual pad kit. Maybe that's for the car or something. I'm not too sure. Rapid chargers and other fancy gadgets and accessories. Of course, this phone was for ETACS, and back in those days, it was only Vodafone and Cellnet, like it says here. Cellnet is obviously rebranded O2 many years ago. So yeah, Martin Dawes Communications, Warrington, that's where they are. They're in Bath as well by the looks of it. So actually looking at that number, that actually should be 01925. So the prefix, the dialing codes are changed in the UK. They changed twice for London already, many years ago. So that gives you some sort of idea of how old the phones is. Certainly London ran out of dialing codes and phone numbers, so they changed the prefix on it, and then they ran out again and they changed the prefix to 020. Previously it was 0171, and before that it was 07071, I think it was, back in the day. So to give you some idea how old this phone is. But without further ado, let's have a look inside. Unfortunately, the top of the box is a bit torn. Whoever got this obviously maybe got it as a Christmas present and ripped the top off. So it's not too good a state, but and I'm missing the inside stuff, so the packaging, which is why I got bubble wrap, just to keep everything separate. So you got obviously the manuals, a nice little booklet here with pretty much just text and boxes, apart from the back. I think you got a couple of diagrams in the back of you. Yeah. So is there a diagram somewhere? There should be a couple of diagrams. Yeah, a couple of diagrams of what you got, and you know, accessories and whatnot. Real neat. Shows you how old this is. The staples are all rusty in there, and then you got dialing codes and network services. Booklet with every dialing code or area code for the UK. And this is all out of date because many of the dialing codes or prefixes have changed. Certainly, like I said, London has changed twice since 1988, 89. In fact, when was this printed? Let's have a quick look. Should be a date somewhere. Nope, maybe not. Oh, there has to be a date on these. They always put dates on the backs of booklets, surely. Maybe there's no date. Oh, well, there's no date. Let's check the manual quick. Maybe there's a date in the back of this. There we go. March 1989, printed in Japan, out of all places. So back in those days, obviously these phones were made in Japan. Nowadays, pretty much everything phone-wise is made in China. So anyway, let's take a look inside. You got obviously the charger, the desktop charger. You didn't get much in terms of charger. This is the slot where the shoe the phone sticks into. This is obviously a 3-pin. And this is heavy. This has got a real transformer in it. None of that switch mode power supply stuff you get nowadays. This does weigh quite a bit. 16.5 volt, 650 milliamp. Real strange permutation, but anyway. And then this is obviously the original OKI charger that you got. I'm going to plug this in a minute. You got an extra battery, because batteries on these phones didn't really last very long. And then of course you got the phone. Now the reason I got bubble wrap in here is because I lost the original insert, which obviously is molded to the phone and the battery and the charger and everything. I don't have that, so unfortunately I've had to use bubble wrap to keep this phone in storage. Anyway, let's get rid of the box. You got obviously the phone. This is the original box for the phone, carrying case. There we go. So this is what the leather case came in. This phone is in immaculate condition, I think, because this has always been kept in the leather case. The keypad's immaculate. I'll show you in a minute. I'll take the phone out of this. You'll see that the phone is virtually immaculate. I mean, it's spotless. It really is. So I got lucky with this one, I gotta say. So but yeah, got a connector up there for the antenna, because back in those days all the phones had antennas, obviously. And this is quite a big antenna. Not as big as the other phone I dug out as well, just for comparison. Looks like this, but I don't actually know what it is. That's this baby right here. If you guys know what this is, drop me a comment, because I thought it was an OKI when I bought it, and it's not. I've been told it's not. It's very similar to this. Very, very similar indeed. Maybe it was a... I don't know. I don't think they did Chinese knockoffs back in those days, but certainly it's... and I don't have a charger for this, so I can't power it up. If you guys know what model this is, drop me a comment. I'll be real interested to find out. But certainly, yeah, this is definitely an OKI lookalike. But anyway, so going back to the OKI then, this doesn't really take a charge. This is one of the very few phones that actually has a slide switch for the power on. Nowadays, everything's push button or you know, this actually has a little push button, a little slider thing, and this is one of the few phones that actually has that. There's not many phones that have a slidey power on button. Most phones are press and hold for the power on. The other phone that I came across while I was digging out for this one in storage was one of the NECs. I think I did a video about this one a while ago. This is a TR5 E1320, and this does have the power on and off as well on the back. God knows why they put it on the back. They could have put it on the side, but this is and I got a couple of these. There's gray ones like this, there's black ones. So yeah, by comparison, roughly the same size actually. So this is one that's got the power slider on and off switch as well. But let's try and fire this one up. The battery doesn't unfortunately take any charge anymore, because it's real out of date. But I think if we put the phone onto the shoe, it might just have enough juice to power on. So I'm going to plug this bad boy in, and hopefully we'll get the phone to power on. Okay, so the way this works, it took me some time to work out, but it actually slides in that way. You'd think that it might go in this way or some other way, but you know, it's not straightforward as you might think. So because you got the little hook here that you need to push down, so basically it goes in like so. It does say charge, so with a bit of luck this might actually fire up. I don't think it's charging the battery though, because I left this on charge overnight and nothing happened. So but it does power on. It does say CellNet. I'm a bit baffled why that is, because certainly analog is it's been switched off. The cell towers for analog service have been long switched off back in 2001. So and I'm pretty sure this ain't GSM. So if it is, I don't know where the SIM card goes, but maybe it just displays it. It's not got service, but maybe it just does display it. So going quickly through the menu, that would be menu, battery meter. I'm not too sure how you operate this. I do have the manual. Maybe I should have read through the manual actually. Okay, so nope. Recall. How the hell did you get into the menu on this? Menu 1? Nope. Oh, hang on a sec. What was that? Menu. Ring volume control. How do you operate that? I'm not even sure. It says ring volume control. How about we click store? Whole bunch of beeping, but nothing's happening. Got a couple of volume buttons up here. I would suspect that would be used to increase the volume, but obviously not. Real bizarre, because it's starting to crackle now, actually. Don't know if you can hear that. There we go, it's finished. What can I say? This is... Oh, here we go. We just press and hold the menu, and then we can scroll through. So, got a couple of options. Vacant add scratch, not sure what that is, or search. Lock set, auto lock. NAM2. Now, for some of you guys, this might not mean much, but some of the analog phones for amps as well as ETACS, they had NAM1 and NAM2, which basically allowed you to program up two different service providers on the one phone. Kind of like some of the micro TACS, the early micro TACS, like the Digital Elite, or you know, some of the others that operated on TDMA as well as amps. Because TDMA was considered digital back then, digital inverted commas. You know, you had one NAM for amps and one NAM for and the way this worked, you could have a service contract with Cellnet, and you could have one with Vodafone, and you could switch between the two. That's like saying you got a cell phone that you got a contract with on Verizon, and then you got a contract with on like a competitor like Virgin Phones, or I'm not too sure, like I don't know, AT&T, if they're not merged with Verizon or whatever, or Sprint. So you had two different companies. You could, and depending where you were, if service wasn't great with one, you could just switch to the other. And you'd get service. So if you're in an area where, say, Vodafone for this one wasn't too good in terms of service area, you could switch to Cellnet, and then they'd have service. And chances are you could pick up service. That was a real neat feature of this phone. There's a couple of phones back in the day that had this function. Not many though. Certainly, this is one of the few I recall having this. I'd have to read up on the manuals, but this is definitely one that, like I said, some of my friends had these, and they had contracts on two of them. That's how I know. So System A, this is a bit like Scan A, Scan B on the amps. I'm not going to talk too much about that. Extended DTMFs, auto redial, timer reset, unlock code set, call restrict, user's manual. Oh, that's interesting. To start, press recall. Okay, auto store. What does that do? Battery. Oh, we're back to square one. Okay, I guess that's pretty much all you got then for a menu. We've been through this. Time reset, unlock code, call restrict, user's manual, and battery meter, basically. You didn't really get much in terms of features, but this was quite an advanced phone for the time. Not too sure what else I can show you, really. It's got no service, obviously, despite the fact it says Cellnet. I guess maybe it says Cellnet because it's telling you which NAM you selected. It's still got no service up there, so I'm guessing it's out of service. But it says Cellnet there, presumably because you're selecting the NAM for Cellnet, if that makes any sense. So yeah, real neat phone. This does weigh quite a bit. It's not as heavy as the NEC. Actually, this is a bit heavier. This weighs probably somewhat similar weight to the Siemens. This is a Siemens C. Is it a C? No, this is a C4, I think. C4, yeah. C3 would be the transportable. C2s and C1. C1 is a huge one. I have a couple of them as well. So yeah, this weighs roughly the same as this. This has got a real cool antenna. I'll try and do a video about well, I did a video about this. I'll try and do a video about the Siemens at a later stage. I'm missing the charger. I do have one. I just don't know where it is. By comparison, Novotel. This does weigh quite a bit more than the OKI. Similar sort of age. This is late 80s. This is I think this is actually 87, 86, 87. This thing. So the OKI's a bit newer. Inverted commas, newer. So, but anyway, that's all I can pretty much say. You don't really get much in terms of features compared to nowadays the phones. Like I said, this is in real good condition, and the bottom's getting warm, so it's obviously doing something. You got any questions, pop me a comment. I'll try and help as best as I can. If you haven't already checked out the competition about the free brick frame giveaway, check that out. I think that video went up a couple of days ago. And drop me a comment if for some reason you can't text. If for some reason you're on CDMA and don't want to send an international text, drop me a comment. I'll try and give you an email address so you can enter that way. So I'm a fair kind of guy. The more people that enter, the fairer it is, sort of thing. But anyway, check out some of the other videos, and if you haven't subscribed already, do so. Hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to like and share as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.